All right. Hello, everyone. It's me, Generic Pie, back again with another video for you today. And this is the third game in kind of round two of this year's 2024 War of the Ring World Tournament between myself and Ituralde. And once again, Ituralde is here on co-commentary, so it's another special treat for everybody. Hey, Ituralde, how you doing?
Hello, hello, hello. Doing all right.
Nice, nice, nice. So this game, we played this like a week ago, didn't we?
Yes. So while I remember the ending, I don't remember the middle bits.
Yeah, we played this directly. If you go and check out Iltorelli's channel, which I'll once again plug because it's really cool. It's a really good channel.
Thank you.
I'll put another link to that in the chat in the notes below. But yeah, if you watch the second round, obviously because it's a third game, you can probably presume that that I lost that game. But it was quite a short one. We probably played it in like 40 minutes or something.
Yeah, maybe 50 with logging on and logging out.
Yeah. So we decided to dive straight into game number three, but we didn't have time to do the casts to kind of record the commentary afterwards. So hence a little bit rusty on this one. We did bidding. I was the highest seed, and I initially bid 2 tokens. You countered with 3, and I think I said in the chat like this is going to be the death of me. But
Yep.
let's go for it. I'm gonna go 3 people. I think that's what cost me in my Loam third game. I went 3 people and tried to do some unique Hobbit strategy. Didn't work, and I got knocked out on the 4th step of Mordor. But this time, I'm going with it. I'm going with those trusty Hobbits, and I'm hoping they get me over the line. So you started with Shadows Gather and Lure of the Ring, so that's interesting. So one very playable card if you so desire to play it early. And
yeah, but sometimes getting 3, you always want the full 3 spaces, and where do you get 3 spaces from? Sometimes that's a little awkward.
Yeah, I think sometimes people try and shoehorn it in the early game, and it actually hurts you more than it helps you. So I think the one that I think might work is the Moran into Daggerlad and then bloop 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 up here.
Yep, that's
But
a good one.
it's a bit boring. And I had Spirit of Mordor and an Ents card. So you say not making the same mistake this time. So
I actually allocate 1 eye just in case.
yeah, in the previous game, I think you rolled 0 eyes and I rolled 3 movement. So a more balanced roll here. Pretty balanced all round, I'd say.
2 musters for me, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's fine. So you get Isengard down. I move the Fellowship straight away. You miss on 2 dice. What did you do there? You consider moving dudes around, and then you go for Saruman. I move again.
I forget why in that order, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think I decided just to move to know where I'm at with my musters. Do I want to use a muster to hide? But I don't need to worry about that because they're even safer. So good start for the Fellowship. You do 2 army moves. You get the North Dunlander into Moria and the guys into Gorgoroth. Elves go down. I figure got to use these tokens sometime.
Yep.
And with that move, you're signifying you're probably going to go for Lorien.
And you can certainly, make sure before you go any farther, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. You draw into a card. So you decide to go for a character card here. Why was that?
Partially, last game was a race, so I figured, well, this one will be a corruption game. Especially with that many tokens, I figure it's going to be a bit of a military slog.
Right.
So, and this many musters early, you're going to get someone effectively to war, if not all the way with elves. And so I figure I'm going to try and do a corruption game.
Okay, so let's try and bog down the Fellowship and make it awkward for the Fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
Annis's Bane is a great one to draw. Then
as long as you get out of Rivendell.
Yeah, as long as you actually can.
Already.
Yeah, those cards don't help too much if I'm just sat there chilling in Rivendell. I get the elves 1 away from war, and you say stop that, and I shout no, I shall muster them forever, all the way to fancy. Yeah, we're joking around I'm going beyond the at war step. That's so far I'm going to muster the elves today. You do 2 more army moves. You get the kind of Far Harad guys to Near Harad, and you go to Morannon. And then I decide I don't want to get the elves all the way to war in case
He's Witch King.
Yeah, I just yeah. I just wanted to, yeah, didn't want to give you too early a Witch King, and I wanted to see the lay of the land in turn 2 before I committed. And you say very different game, lol. Yeah, this is a totally different game
Yeah.
to the last one already. Okay, we go on to turn number 2, and you draw another Ents card.
Rather you do, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, I draw another Ents card. What am I talking about? Yeah,
And
so
Torn Dark's always the best one in my opinion.
yeah, Horn Dark is that's a beauty. They're all pretty banging, but that's a great one. There's one where you can get like extra hits though. I think that might be my favorite.
Yes, I'm forgetting the name of that one, but yeah.
I've seen a few where you get like 6 hits, and that's always satisfying. Okay,
Yeah.
so you get a New Powers Rising and Orc Patrol.
Which is hilarious since I got that on my first draw last game.
Yeah.
New Powers Rising. So.
Yeah, so there are definitely some ways in which this game mirrors the previous game, and then it diverges in other ways quite drastically. So you go for the 2-eye strategy to try and, I presume, catch me in Moria.
Yep.
I get just a 1 movement this time. And yeah, so I didn't have much luck on Wills last game. So you again play New Powers Rising, and I'm just thinking like, oh man, not again! Like,
and I'm guaranteed no Gandhi, so I can rush out with everything and fill backward. So
totally, and I won't like give a full recap in the last game, but in a nutshell, you kind of blitzkrieged into Helm's Deep with an early New Powers Rising when Gandhi was nowhere to be seen, and it hurt me a lot. So I'm kind of getting like PTSD, like Vietnam flashbacks of, like the Rohirrim being crushed by Olokai, Urukai, sorry.
And your role is just trash for fighting this.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, not this again. Like, no,
I guess you have the
please.
2 end cards, so that's good.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of like, am I gonna get to use those guys? Like, it's not much fun using the end cards. Like when you've got like a tiny little weedy army in Helm's Deep. You're just gonna feel like you're kind of, it's a bit helpless. So I decide like I'm not gonna like just like lie down this time. I'm gonna make sure that I put up a good fight and make as much use of these end cards as possible. So I did a bit of an interesting move, I think. I moved this sneaky little dude into Dimril Dale, and the reason I did that is because I calculated that this makes it so in between getting Sauron to war, I'm not sure. I think I canted it up. I can't be bothered to do it again now. That it would make it so you can't put Lorien under siege and do other stuff and get the Witch King.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
So it might give you an easier Witch King, having said that. But it basically means it's going to be awkward for you, and you're going to waste a die.
Yeah.
And also setting it up for defending Helm's Deep, hopefully. And you go straight for Fords.
Figure get you down while I can.
Yeah, strike while the iron is hot. And I'm like, oh man, I do have a scouts though. I do have a scouts. So I
mean, in all actuality, you have about the best hand you could for this. Now that I'm thinking about it a bit more.
Yeah, I had a pretty totally. I had a pretty sweet hand for this situation. So what I do here is I decide to use a ring. I have these 2 Palantirs. I don't have much to do with the Palantirs anyway. And it seems like a good way of A, doing this, and B, it also gets the Old Forest Road guy into position as well, which is handy. You get Sauron to war. You start... What did you do there? Western Met to Ford's Weizen. Oh, no, okay, so you start taking over Rohan, right? And you're moving these guys down to join Northank. I move the Fellowship. They are hit. It's a 3. Oh, not so nice. Nice, not nice. So that was definitely a stroke of luck. Especially
I would have loved to get you revealed into Moria.
Yeah, and if I had been revealed, and then I probably would have used this Palantir to hide, and then you would have probably used this Palantir to hit me with like Isildur's Bane, and
I was all excited for a wonderful corruption game, and then you didn't reveal yourself.
Yeah, that's a real sliding doors moment. If I'd got a reveal there, could have been a very different game, I think. So yeah, kills Gandhi. You Shadows Gather. Oh no, you don't Shadows Gather. You do Shadows Gather. Never mind. And you move all these guys down here to Westermet. So you're like, you ain't messing around.
Yeah, none of this Rohan musters up and reconquers or thing. None of that.
Right. You're just going straight for these swines and make sure you crush them. So the one like I can see why you do that, but sometimes I find when I commit both the Orthanc army and like another army, whether it's Minas Morgul or whether it's Dol Guldur, whatever. That it's like I feel like I'm kind of overcommitting armies to one area, if that makes sense.
Agreed. And I've even committed the South Dunland guys kind of down this direction.
Mm.
I guess I'm kind of hoping, okay, so my next, I have a double move and Rohan's not even at war, so I can take Edoras Fold, you get one muster into Helm's Deep, and then I dogpile it.
Right.
Hopefully a 6/4/4 with a backup 4 regulars can just tank that, and then I'm 3 moves from Lorien or Minas Tirith, whichever direction I want to go, roughly 3 moves. So
right.
I guess I'm kind of hoping let's get this done, and then I can go somewhere else.
And I suppose like it's 3 moves from Dol Guldur, like 1, 2, 3 to Lorien anyway. So once you've taken this out, it's like it's an extra move to Lorien or an extra move to Minas Tirith. So it's not a huge diversion, I suppose. So I'm like, oh god, yeah, I do like an oh god face. I draw a card.
So you do draw the card. Okay, good.
Yeah,
we had some confusion about that later. So
yeah, we did. I think I was just like, I need to. I don't remember why I did that, but anyway, I did it. So you take over Rohan, and I play Rhythm of Elrond to get Gondor to war, which is handy, which is useful.
Yeah. And I'm not even threatening it, so yeah.
Yeah, and it's just So now Gondor's ready to be mustered, and the elves are very near to being mustered. So quite a good position for the 3 people. You draw Rage and Morgul Wounds. So Rage is a handy card for this situation.
Yep.
And I
Glad to get it early again.
Eagles are coming, enter a day and a night. Airship's okay. 2 eyes again. You get a pretty rubbish roll. And I get a pretty great roll.
Your wills, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, you're like, uh-oh. I get the Gandhi Man into Fangorn.
And I'm forced to spend half a move not putting Helm's Deep under.
Yes, so you naturally get Orthanc. So, and this would have actually bought me a muster in Helm's Deep, which would have been handy had I not had other plans. So start moving these guys out. And then I play the Ents card.
Oh, right. I remember this now.
Get 2 hits. And you say, glad I didn't risk it.
Yep. Risk just not putting those guys in. He doesn't have it. He's only drawn 3 character cards. What's the likelihood he has an Ents?
And to be honest, the odds are so unlikely. So, I mean, I've been in this situation before. I've been in this exact situation in another video I made called Ent Mania, where my opponent did exactly this. And it feels, as the Free Pills player, as a Shadow player, it feels like you've just been cheated. It's just like, you're playing the odds by doing what you did. Like 3 is normally fine. You have to be very unlucky to lose to have 3 wiped out.
A 1 and 8 or whatever.
Exactly, and then to get the double Ents, and I get it, so I get the 1, and it's a very early dead Saruman.
And those Ents were very hasty this game.
Yeah, and like after how the last game went, I was just deeply like relieved. I was like, okay, at least Rohan is not just going to get steamrolled this game. Because it puts you in a bit of a spotlight. This army's still big, but now you have to get leadership to it. Probably.
Yeah.
And you say no 3rd card. Yeah, I couldn't play the Eagles Are Coming, unfortunately. Right, so you naturally attack Helm's Deep to get under siege.
I do have 1 Nazgul, so that's nice.
Yeah, that does make a difference. And yeah, you can get the Witch King with the other die, I guess. I pass, you get the Witch King, pass again, you draw a strategy card, let's look at your cards. You've got a pretty stacked hand now. I'm
mostly just prepping for anything I can play against Helm's Deep. I would love to get you out of Rivendell and play half my hand on you immediately, but yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, totally. And just start just baning me and patrolling me, etc. So
I had 3 Palantirs and 4 cards. I want 4 hunt cards.
And then I once again also don't get a revealed tile. So this game is going, and I say very different game. So in comparison with the I've got an early Gandalf. I've had a good start in Rohan, and the hunt's been kind this time. I can't really remember how the hunt went in the other game. I think when the hunt I got 4 free movement last game, so that wasn't too bad.
You were this far with no dice. No tile.
That's mad. But you then use the ring back at me to have a go at Helm's Deep. I guess you've got like kind of too many Palantirs
Yeah, I'm
here.
mostly thinking I got to burn cards, and saving the what am I going to do with 2 Palantirs if not attack? So
Yeah, that's true. Like, what are you going to do with this King is revealed? You're going to end up just burning cards, aren't you? Otherwise, so you play. Yeah, I thought you'd play that one. Relentless Assault against Confusion. You burn 2 guys, get just a 1 hit, so that's pretty unlucky.
not very confused, so that's good.
So yeah, 1 from the Confusion, so 4 hits for me. So good combat from
rough.
Yeah, so this is pretty painful start for the Shadow. I just, now that I've got these guys to war, I just do a bit of, like housekeeping and get Dol Amaroth mustered up. You play another Relentless Assault. Oh, no, sorry. You play Rage.
Yeah, and obviously I'd love to throw that at Rivendell again. I mean, I wish I didn't have to do it down here. So many moves even to get to Helm's Deep, it feels like. But a 4-1-3 against a 5-0-1 in Helm's Deep, I just can't rely on that.
Yeah. So. And this kind of, you're in a position now with this army, when it does inevitably take Helm's Deep, it's like, is it going to be big enough to go somewhere else? So at least you're getting some other guys to go and do something with. That's the thing. This army looks so big, and it's already, it's like 6 HP versus 5 HP. All right, so you draw Fighting Urukai, and on they went, and I draw Guahir and Fear 5 Foes. So this is another way where this game mirrors the first game, actually, not the second game, is the fact that we've had both an early Fear 5 Foes and an early Book of Mizarble again. So that's kind of another quirk of the game.
And you're still in Rivendell. Just one Hobbit can go do both of those.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do have Guahir, which is exactly the combo you had with Fear 5 Foes.
That's true.
So I could have. I think that was your opening hand. Either that or Mizarble.
Effectively, yeah.
So I get another pretty will-heavy turn. I decide to rush the Fellowship. They're hit this time. Oh, thank goodness or badness. So I am revealed, finally, on step 5. So I skip through to Path Celebrant, whatever it's called. Take the Corruption, get a 1. So I'm getting some nice tiles.
Kind of fun for me, because I have Morgul Wound.
Oh, yes, you do. You do indeed, of course. So naturally, you use that straight away. So Corruption's gone from nothing to, well, like 1 up straight up to 5 very quickly. So yeah, the alarm bells are ringing now, like, oh, is it going to be one of those games now? Which was your original intention. And you are still hanging on to Isildur's Bane, which you then play. And it's an eye. So
shucks.
Shucks.
A wizard is never late.
And now the Gandhi man heads north.
His job is complete, so he can just run away.
Yeah, so this was kind of serving 2 purposes in a way, because one, I was like, well, I've got Gondor ready. So if you do decide, and you haven't got the South ones to war yet, so like if you do decide to go Gondor, I don't really mind.
Yeah.
Because I can just start mustering these guys up big style. So in a way, it was kind of almost ushering you not to go up to the Woodland Realm. I'm not sure if that's correct.
I do remember at this point I looked at that, I was like, well, it's got to be Mizarble, right? Like,
yeah,
you can move him up there, but if you don't have that, I'd say just put him in MT and call it a day, or at least hold off and be ready to do that at a moment's notice. So
yeah, unless it's some huge
your
bluff.
Point is good. You could bluff, yeah, exactly. So maybe there's benefit to that.
It's an interesting bluff to do. I've never known anyone to do it, but if you really, really, say for example you had all of the good mustering cards for Gondor, it could be quite a clever play. And in this case, because the enting is already done. Gandalf's done all the enting he ever needs to do, so that's not a concern. And you say that
it's actually really nice to have the freedom to get Gandalf off doing other things.
Yeah, exactly. Or without having to do like the kind of switcher and bring a hobbit into Fangorn or something like that. So now I start mustering. I'm like, well, I could use that die to play Mizarble, but I'll just start mustering Gondor instead. You combine armies, and you do combine them in Morgul, which tells me, yeah, you are going for Gondor. And I just keep mustering. I get leaders around the place. And yeah, the forces of evil are very much marching towards.
Pits of Mordor are emptied.
Indeed, yeah, looking quite scary there. We go on to turn 5. You get Cruel Weather and half Orcs, and I get Mithril and Thranduils.
Draws on both sides.
Yeah, decent draws indeed. So 3 eyes now, so it's one of those games I'm like, I'm gonna have to take it slow here, I think. But before you can get a reroll on me, I move straight away. Safe.
Yep.
You go for Osgiliath. No cards. Yeah, I guess none of these cards really make too much sense. Especially without the Witch King. You get your hits.
So I get the 2, so that's nice.
I get 1 back. I keep mustering. I decide to go for the elite here. Sorry, not the elite. The leader over the elite.
And I think that's a correct move here.
Yeah, I figure like you're only getting half an effective HP if I bring an elite in, and I probably might want to save those elites for elsewhere. And also, just getting a guy in Pelagids can be annoying.
Yeah, you're gonna have plenty of time to muster everywhere else. So
yeah, so you go for Minas Tirith, and I then play. I played the wrong card. I'm like, I get to Dale, and I'm like, wait a minute,
no, that
doesn't work. Yeah, and then I switch.
Which is one of those things I really do. I think a lot of Free People's players wish that worked in Dale. It seems a little silly that it doesn't, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, I think it would be fun if it did. It might be a little bit OP, but it would be fun.
I think Free People needs a little OP in their life.
Yeah, I think in terms of making games interesting and balancing it out, I think it would be a positive move. I don't think it would make the Free People too overpowered. So anyway, yeah, so that's the one. Get into the dwarves. Show my hand quite literally. You start marching towards Gondor, surrounding Gondor. And you say, note for casting, this is when I read the card. So what's that a reference to? I can't remember.
So go to my hand real fast. And this is when I read Fighting Uruk-hai. I had been saving it, but it requires Saruman to be in play. So I was saving my Palantir to take HD this turn. And then I could move the Witch King away on the next turn.
So you're going to use the Mustard to play half Orcs, and then you were going to use the Palantir to play Fighting Uruk-hai.
Yeah, or vice versa, but yeah.
Right. That's... I mean, it's not very common that Saruman dies, so it's quite rare to actually see this happen. So that's painful discovery. And then I decided, because I had this kind of, I don't really want to move twice. Like, I feel like this game's going quite well for me, militarily. Agreed. So I'm thinking I don't want to push my luck and start over moving. I've got a pretty full hand, so I decide to, and I've got Eagles Are Coming, which is a card that isn't used very much, but I think it could be a good way of wasting your time and just being annoying. So I send a lowly hobbit to Minas Tirith, just to get that leadership up that little bit more. Threaten means like it opens me up to being able to play character cards in combat. And I've got Eagles Are Coming, which could just be a real pain for you. And you actually comment about, I say Heroic Hobbit. I thought Eagles bought only tidings, not burdens. Yes, so that's obviously from Guahir.
That promo, that useless promo card.
Yeah, when you said it, I was like, does he know I'm planning to play Eagles Are Coming? I was like, that's such an incredible read if that was the case, because that's such an...
I wish I was that good.
Yeah, that's such an unusual card for me to even be thinking about playing. You get the South runs down, and I get Dol Amroth buffed. Because now, obviously, you've got 3 big armies in Gondor, so I was like, yeah, Dol Amroth could become a serious problem, and you're like, stop! And I think you wisely get another red tile in. How are the red tiles looking now? You've got... That's the first one. That's the first one you put into the pool.
Mostly just, I want this to be a corruption game. You're at 5, so that there's hope of that being a valid strategy, and I've got all these cards. I'm going to burn them already. Yeah. So that's the one I can burn right now without a problem.
I did also lose the precious Hobbit corruption point as well.
Yep,
leaving myself open there. So I get guards, which is obviously handy, and Horn of Gondor. So so good. Yeah. I think my card draws have been solid this game.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, and you get
it was Wormtongue, which I immediately tossed.
Yeah, so that's not great for this. And Shadow's moving, which is good. So you're checking if I declare. Yeah, I didn't declare because I was worried it would make it easier for you to get a guy onto me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not sure I realized that at the time, but that's a good thought.
Yeah, that was the reasoning. Because like if I move either here or here, it just gives you the option of doing a half movement and getting a little goblin onto me.
Sure.
So you're up to 3 eyes again. I roll 1 movement again. So yeah, it's a slow game. I move straight away again. I'm safe again. You get the first ones fully to war. Let's see.
And I think somewhere in here, I really should have just taken the time to get a Nazgul on you, get those rerolls. I'm not sure where I would have found the time, and I don't have spare Nazgul right now either. But if I want this to be a corruption game, I really should be taking the time to do that, I think.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because on the one hand, like you want to finish off Helm's Deep before you move the Nazgul, so it feels like a bit of a waste of a C die when it's your only C die to do that. Because then, if you do take down Helm's Deep, then you're stuck with the Witch King here.
Yeah. Just feels like somewhere in here. I don't know where it would have been, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of like between a rock and a hard place there. I don't know how you quite manage that. I get Horn of Gondor on the board. You attack Helm's Deep. What cards have we got here? So I'm guessing. Let's just see. Okay, you play it for the onslaught. Nice. And I
figure I have enough hit points. 50/50s are excellent against strongholds. So.
Then we discussed the what you were talking about earlier, fighting your kind in ends. So you get the 1 hit. I get 3 hits back. So those were here in a really fighting mood. In a fighting mood today. You do the 4, the big 4, with the onslaught, and you get 2. So not quite enough. So now it's a 4 versus a 2.
And now it's a little scary to press. Not terrible yet, but
you're in
4 versus 2 isn't great.
Yeah, like if that goes bad for you, then it can get really awkward. I do. What did I do here? I use a muster. Yeah. So okay, right. Yeah. So I was thinking about. So I get a leader to Erebor, and I get a single to Pedagogue. Okay, cool.
Any particular reason you're not just mustering the entire Gondor army in Pelargir, Lamadon, Dol Amroth? Any variation thereon?
I can't really remember. I think it was that I wanted to. It was like the 3 people leader force pool was empty. So I didn't want to get a single in Dol Amroth because then I'm over mustered. I could have got 1 in Lamadon, I suppose, but I figured these guys are probably going to be able to retreat to Lamadon. So I figured I'd get the extra because I'm rolling on 6s here. Sorry, rolling on defensively on 6s. I'll get the guy in Pedagogue, and then I want to slowly start getting because I know like something's going to happen in Dew eventually. So I want to slowly build up the dwarves as well.
I guess I think in this case, in this situation, I would probably put a guy in Lamadon and Pelargir, assuming I'll lose 1, maybe 2, and Pelargir retreat to Lamadon, do another double muster in Lamadon, Dol Amroth retreat. And
yeah, that's
what am I
nice.
going to do with a 6-2-0 that's lost 1 or 2 guys? You know, a 4-2-0 ain't taking Dol Amroth when it's a full stack and a little over a full stack even.
Yeah, I think that's like a
reinforcement.
I think that's a really like totally legitimate thing. I think the reason was because I was just like, I don't want to be in a position where I've focused too much on Gondor and then forgotten about, get the fact that I've committed getting Gandhi to Erebor, got the dwarves, so I want to like gradually make this like a real pain in your side for later on. So I was kind of laying the groundwork there a little bit. So you go with the deadly. Oh, sorry. So yeah, you're attacking Helm's Deep
on
again.
HD.
Yeah,
basically guarantee the take. So
yeah, so you're giving up a good card, but you're just not taking any more risks. So yeah, does the job. Helm's Deep is finally down. So yeah, that was a very expensive Rohan.
Yeah, it took all of Orthanc, all of New Powers Rising, most of Rage of Dunlendings, Shadows Gather, whichever the 3-move one is, and Dol Guldur. Like, man.
It reminds me of in our first game when I committed like everything to trying to take Erebor, I think it was, on the Woodland Realm. I gave up an insane number of strong cards and, mustering to try and just take like 3 points up here. So now I get an Elite into Erebor, so it's getting pretty buffed. You play Orcs multiplying again, so getting a bunch of dudes on the board. And I play Thranduils. Because again, like the elves aren't at war yet. So I just figured
somehow.
Yeah. And I'm like, that could come back to bite me. That has come back to bite me in games before when you're kind of for whatever reason the opposition doesn't go for the elves and they're not at war and you're like, they're one step away. I'll worry about that later. And then you have a turn where the shadow rolls like 8 attacks. Then they build a monster Southron army and just blitz into like an empty woodland realm, and you're like, I kind of wish I had Thranduils right now. And you played it for Valor or something.
And I'm happy to be safe from Círdan, so it's always nice to not have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. If I do draw into Círdan, so I'm like, I kind of at some point I'm gonna have to get these elves actually in the game. So what's going on here? So I drew into a card. I drew into Grimbjorn, and then you moved a character die, and you moved all your leadership around to West Hirondor.
Yeah, and I could put one on the Fellowship, but it's the last die of the round, so you'll just declare out. So it's and there's too many places for you to go, especially with me on just starting Nazgul, that I can't actually net the board.
Yeah,
for where you're gonna be.
There's too many options, aren't there? I could go to so many places and be at the same effective distance from Mordor. Okay, we go on to turn number 7. Grey Company and Aemir. So the Valors could be handy. And you get rid of Threats and Promises, and then you also draw into the Lidless Eye.
Good card to just burn for a cycle with the Witch King, so that's nice.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. Yeah, if you want to just cycle.
Although I did think about I could cancel Mary. So.
Oh my god, I remember this card turn now. I forgot this happened.
Yeah.
What?
And then
Yeah. Yeah, and we both do some appropriate responses. So yeah, you're like glad not a slam dunk FMPV. So yeah, in another game, maybe I just like send if you hadn't played Orcs Multiplying again, for example, maybe this little dude can just scoot into here or something. But yeah, not quite.
And because Gondor's fully in hand now, like you're not going anywhere. You will muster up, but you're not gonna just if this was the role and I was just in Osgiliath, or rather the Athelians, you just run around me and take 4 points in Mordor, and there's effectively nothing I can do,
And that's just the worst and stupidest way to lose, because it's just complete RNG.
Yeah.
So I say, I guess I got to keep moving, given this feels awful. So I guess there's an argument for given you're not going to be doing anything this turn, really. There's an argument for just not even risking it. I'm effectively 3 moves away from Mordor, but I think I want to ideally guarantee that I get into Mordor next turn. At the moment, I'm probably, I'd say, in general terms, 2 turns away from Mordor. Whereas if I don't move this turn, it could be another 2 turns away from Mordor.
Yeah. The other thought is, you could crown in DA, crown Aragorn.
That's true.
You've got enough banked Fellowship movement; he can get there with 1 move.
The problem with that is, for me, corruption is just too much of an issue.
It's a little high.
Yeah, and even though I'm looking pretty strong on the board, it's not unfathomable that you just completely stomp down Minas Tirith, and
sometimes that just happens.
Send 3 monster armies to Dol Amroth. Games can swing quite fast for Shadow, I find, if you get a ton of attacks. So I was like, I'm in a good position. Don't want to tempt fate. I'll keep the Fellowship together. But yeah, you're right. I could have done that. If there's ever a turn to do it, that's a pretty great one to do it. I could have got it 1, 2, 3. Could I get there?
You have a banked 2 movement from the Fellowship, so.
Oh yeah, so 1, 2, 1, 2. Wouldn't it be 1 short? 3 movement.
Eastonnet, Druidin, Osgiliath, and then his. Oh, maybe you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're 1 short, so you could theoretically crown in Pelargir, but that's obviously super dangerous.
Yeah,
so you're right. Maybe that's.
Or I could have used a ring. I could have moved once, used a ring to move him, and then crown.
Yeah,
but that's cool. That's quite expensive, isn't it?
Not as easy as I was saying.
So you hit on the final die, and it's a 0 reveal, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then you do get the chance to play Lure of the Ring.
Yeah, yep. Glad to get that out.
And luckily for me, it's the Hobbit. I say kill the Hobbit.
Two of my attack the Fellowships have been 1 for an eye for nothing, and 1 for get a Hobbit. It's like, well, that doesn't feel as good.
You're not getting great value. I mean, the one benefit is you're getting kind of like this. There's still a few nice tiles in there for me. There's quite a few big tiles left.
Yeah, get the low ones out now. The high ones will come later. So
Yeah, but if you're hitting eyes with those tiles, it doesn't do anything good at all. It just sucks in every way. So now I do exactly what you were talking about earlier. I do the Lamadon and Pelagear musters.
yeah, I can't even hit both of them even if I wanted. So
I think I might have been skipping.
but I go ahead and hit before you muster an elite in Polar Gear and get a full 5 dice against me.
So yeah, I'm almost mustered the entire force pool of Gondor at this point. There's only one,
which is another argument against crowning Aragorn, because you have one big stack with him, but nothing else. You can't even realistically go get Rohan.
Yeah, I think for the effect of the movement speed, the Fellowfoot shielding, like, and what am I gaining? Like, the defensive bonus of him alone isn't that strong. Like, I think the Lamros looking fairly good as it is. So,
so it'd be fun to run around the west side of the mountains and go retake Rohan with him, but that's just pie in the sky.
That would be fun. I have seen that done before. Okay, so words of power. So you're cycling obviously against Valor. So you get 3 hits. So that's pretty great. And I get 1 back. So good fighting from the South Rons. As these guys run away to Lamadon, you take Pelagear up to 4 victory points.
I get the ring is mine, so another red tile. That's exactly what I want to see.
Yeah.
On the Witch King redraw.
Oh, perfect. That's excellent. Yeah. And then I get the elves down. I'm like, got to do it sooner or later. Don't want to be in a nasty position where you, just find a way of, doing a surprise attack on.
Círdan's, like I said, so that's annoying.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, yes, get me mouth early. Get those.
I didn't think about it. I was like, okay, can I get the North to war in a useful way? Like, but you're basically at Mordor anyway, so.
Yeah, I suppose at this point, is getting them out 1 turn early? Is it worth it? I draw a character card. At this point, I'm like, I could really do with getting some of the nice cards. I've got Mithril in hand, which is great, but I'm like, I need to start getting through more of this deck to get some, because I know you're going to start getting more red tiles in. I'm like, I need some blue tiles to counter that. I could do with Bilbo Song, all of those kind of nice things.
Yeah.
We go on to turn number.
Oh, you draw Círdan's. Very nice.
And then, speak of the devil, I then draw Círdan's just as I've got the elves to war, and you're approaching
and axe and bow.
And axe and bow. So yeah, so pretty great. Yeah, I cannot complain about my cards at all this game.
I do get many kings and Black Captain Command, so I get some good stuff.
Yeah,
that's good to get. You get your full stack from the Easterlings. That can go take something,
Yeah, like you're gonna want. That's a really useful card for getting this going. And if you ever do draw into like Corsairs to try and get extra guys or something like that,
because my army probably can't take DA, so it was going to have to take Corsairs to really take DA at some point anyway. So
yeah, or some kind of Shadow Lengthens jobby to get them.
Yeah, but I've already spent at least the 3.
I think you spent 2 of them, haven't you? Think you've used? Have you Shadows moving? I think you did.
Just the 3 move. I have the 4 single moves in my hand.
Oh, you're still holding that one. Okay, right. So you stick with the 2-eye strat, get up to 3 eyes. So yeah, much more normal roll. I get up,
and I'm thinking holding Cruel Weather, 3 eyes. I can probably prevent you from getting Mordor this round.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
So you miss, safe-ish. Then you play Cruel Weather me straight away, which is the right thing to do. I move again. I'm hit this time. It's a 1 reveal. I use Horn of Gondor. Revealed into Dagger Lad.
And I've successfully held you out.
Yeah, you hold me out.
So that's good.
And you say trying to take my own game advice and think and count. So you're doing some strategizing here, and you start mustering in Moria. Okay, so are you thinking about going for Lorien, I presume?
Yeah, I mean, where's my 10 coming from? I can take Dale with the stack in the east with many kings, but whoop-de-shmee, unless I go take the Shire, that won't matter.
Yeah.
So okay, where's my 10th point? If I assume between the Southron Army and Corsairs, which I had just planned on drawing at some point, I can take DA. Minas Tirith will probably go with those 2 full stacks. Okay, where's my last 2? Probably Lorien.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, like it's going to be a slow mustering, but it's probably your best bet. And then if I must, that's the tricky thing here for me is that like I've got 3 Elven elites, and it's the balancing it because I don't know which way you're going to go.
Yes, I'm basically equidistant from Rivendell, which is nice. So
totally, and also I'm also in the back of my mind thinking like, it would be nice to also get to play Kirdans and make Dolanroth like completely untakeable.
And I did math through this. We'll see as it comes up at the end of the round here. I think I came up with something pretty good.
Yeah. So I flipped the Fellowship with the hybrid. I guess I've got a plan for that. That Palantir. You
Assume Kirdans.
Muster, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Or Axe and Bow, maybe.
Axe and Bow, yeah. I want to just ready that for next turn.
Yep.
You go for Dimmadel from Moria.
And this is what it was. Because you hid with a non-strider die, so I'm going to make you choose between using a ring to get to Mordor or reinforcing Lorien.
Yeah, that's a really clever play because obviously, like, things are looking pretty good. But if you can get a cheap Lorien, that significantly helps your cause, like, you massively.
Yeah, if you got 2 musters in there, I'm not taking that for love nor money for a good while.
Yeah,
but
certainly not with this
0-2-1, that falls pretty easy.
That's it. And if you play forward mustering cards like Carforks and Goblin Men into Lorien, and I'm only rolling 2 dice back at you. So I think that's a great play. The one benefit is I do have the Scout, so I can at least get some degree.
And that was unfortunate, but
yeah,
oh well.
It gives me some defense. But yeah, you put me in a fix.
Is enough. You won't do a field battle, so.
So I did have a serious think here, like, is it insane to muster in Lorien and stay outside of Mordor for 1 turn? And I thought about it for a little bit, and I think I decided yes, it is. Because while in theory I'm buying myself time, like, you can still just stomp down Lorien if you get the right dice, and a full turn in Mordor can be apocalyptic. And the other crucial thing is, by not going into Mordor this turn, it gives you a whole other turn to, like, draw into more red tiles and play more stuff against the Fellowship, and which slows them down anyway. Do you know what I mean?
The only little counter argument I would throw in there is by not giving me a ring, I'm stuck with a sea dice, so I can't actually put Lorien under. So you'll assumably get 2 musters.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah,
that would be quite the stack.
So if you have any thoughts on this, people, put that in the comments. Would you think, is it insane to actually double muster Lorien in this situation and just make it so the military is almost untakeable for the winnable for the shadow, or do you just ride or die for Moran and just try and get over the line?
Move against 3 eyes. You're gonna get hit. You're probably gonna get revealed.
Yeah.
Or at least you have it. What about a 50-50? I don't know what Hunt Pool's looking like right now, but somewhere in the 50-50 of being revealed and getting a second hit.
Yeah. Maybe smart play is just to, because I think I'd forgotten about the ring aspect actually. So you're absolutely right. You still. What's that? Sorry.
Can you show the Hunt real fast?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a 50-50 effectively.
So I have a good think about it, and I basically say everything I said to you in text form, and then eventually I decide just to go for it with the Fellowship. And you get the 3 tile, which is pretty unlucky for you again. Like, it's a good tile to get, but
would have loved an eye.
I go for random, and we discuss whether I can use Axe or Bow after, and we think we can't. So
yeah, and I was quite surprised at this. I figure you burn Axe and Bow, you have a 3/4 chance of it being perfect. I don't know, but you make the good point that you probably can find a way to use it later.
Yeah, I figure like I'm almost guaranteed to be able to use it later, whereas if I use it now, there is that chance that it's just completely useless.
True.
So I decide to. You get Boromir. Okay, so it would have been fine if I had it would have been fine if I had used it.
Yeah, and with Axe and Bow, you're not worried about the last. If it was Horn of Gondor, you're risking Boromir going. So yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, that's true. If I'd had Horn of Gondor, I probably would have played it because there's 2 reasons to play it then. And then you do get Lorien Under Siege, which is that. So yeah, I think that's a really nice play there. Because you're using my dice against me, effectively. I'm trying to remember what I did with my other die. I'm trying to think. There's 1 die. Maybe I could have used one of the other die to muster in Lorien. But I guess it was hiding. I could have not played Axe and Bow, mustered in here, and then used the Palantir to hide. So maybe that would have been the better play. So you get Kindred, and there and back again, and I get other way around, and you get Shadows and Dreadful Spells,
which is a little annoying to draw Shadows right after I left, but I'll take it.
You say now that is a Hunt Pool. You get rid of many kings / great host.
Yeah, because I figure, okay, what is it even going to get for me? An army in the east, great. The dwarves are at war and mustering. Like, I'm not going to take Erebor. I'm not going to take. I could take Dale, but that doesn't matter. And if I even pretend to move towards Woodland Realm, the dwarves will reinforce or retake it. So many
Yeah,
kings, strangely, is effectively put 4 guys in the south that maybe do something, and it's like, eh.
yeah, it doesn't have the usual value, does it? And that's kind of why I obviously wanted to kind of gradually build up those musters in Erebor just to make this so it's really scary for you.
Yeah. And I actually think the dreadful spells would be, which would be my next throw, might be useful in Gondor for a couple quick hits. Hopefully
Yeah,
quick hits somewhere.
yeah, like a freakishly good, dreadful spells can turn the game.
And if nothing else, it's a cycle. It's something I can use to cycle. Although that isn't true. The devilry has to be in Lorien. So anyway, continue.
So we go on to turn number 9. You have 3 eyes in.
And I do put 3 eyes because my main hope continues to be corruption.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
not
I
with
think
that
that's probably the why. Yeah, I think that's what I would do. But then yeah, once again I get a 0 reveal. So I took a slight risk here. I could have played Mithril straight away, but you are holding another red tile, which is what I was worried about. So I figure
Oh yeah,
move
first
once.
move. Mithril will do its thing later.
Exactly. So I just dodge this for 1 move. I think that's the correct play. And I do get a good tile. You say use axe now. It's like, I think I'm okay. You get the red tile in. I hide. You get the mouth into Moria. You play I play Kindred. Sorry. So that's just kind of what am I doing there?
Cycling.
I think I'm just cycling. Yeah.
And
So
you
maybe
put a regular there.
I put a regular there just in case you try to do some sneaky business with Mount Gundabad or something. Playing a little Celeborn's kid and Shipso, and I'm like, lol, haha, yes, I actually am. Okay, so then you muster with Shadows in Moria, which is always nice. Now I get Mithril into the game. I don't really want to move twice against this many eyes. And you go to reinforce Lorien with this nice big army with extra leadership, so that's good. And then
spare half move I take loss or not, just so you're not annoying later. But that was more like, I don't know, this, I guess.
Yeah, and like I use the token now to get the north down, and I'm like, feels like just a waste of a token. I think that we had a discussion about this in the chat. Like, I could have used it earlier to get Lorien down, but I was saving it to kind of change the turn order for Cruel Weather, just in case.
Yeah, you had drawn a card when Helm's Deep was in trouble, and then at that point it was like, well, from then on it was kind of
you're kind of using it just for Cruel Weather insurance. So it's kind of like it can be when tiles are not that much of a useful thing. When you save it for Cruel Weather, doesn't do anything there, and then by that point the muster's too late to do any good. So it's kind of a dead tile. And we have a bit of confusion there. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Glad to hear that we were correct in our investigation. So
yeah. And I think the main reason I did it was to turn just to see what you were gonna do with your dice before I did my final muster. So you attack Lamadon and play some more bats, so I can't get into the Ambroth. You get 1.
Get the 2. No, I get the 2, and
you get the
back,
2.
So.
Right? Okay, nice. And then I decided to play Kid Ants just to kind of.
Yeah, because now I can't risk. I don't know. I feel battle again more than everyone, more than is reasonable, but I don't think this is a good risk, especially with Witch King. So now I can't even put you under siege.
Yeah, totally. And I'm thinking, like, where else do I need to muster? I mean, I've got one guy. If you do somehow, by some means manage to go for Rivendell, I've got a muster in there. If I get Celeborns, I can muster in here. I've got the dwarves to cover Woodland Realm, so I'm kind of thinking, let's just do it now.
Yep, good play.
So you draw Balrog, that's handy, and Deadly Strife. I don't even bother saying Return to Valinor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but this is the one time it might be useful.
And Imrahil as well, so I'm really rubbing it in here. Do I have anything left to muster? I do have another
way. Although you're a little far from Gollum, but
and there's other ways, so that's pretty great. Yeah, I don't have any leaders left in Gondor, so it's a bit not great real, but whatever. So you go with the 3 eyes again, as you well should. Gets another eye. Again, pretty slow movement again. I move straight away. This time it's an eye.
And that's nice.
So that's a good one. I take Strider and Axe and Bow.
Yep.
Were you surprised at that?
Efficient. No. You want Strider to do his full value. This is one of the few times you can do that. You don't have a particular need to move fast. You have 5 dice. I think that's a reasonable play.
Yeah, I think like just gotta take it steady and just get over the line here if I can. But then you do draw into Shelob. I hide. You play Shelob as making life scary. I do even more mustering in Dolamroth. Why not, as you say in the chat? And I get another lead to enter Erebor. You consolidate into Lorien. I get another guy into Dolamroth. So Dolamroth is becoming like a comically large army at this point. And another reg in Erebor. You start moving the Easterlings into formation and get a big army in Peligir.
And I'm forced to reinforce the DA, because now you might come the other direction. Like, not a lot. You're almost at a Gondor, but a full stack.
Oh, I see. So you're concerned about me coming at you, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm very concerned.
Yes.
Especially with the Witch King just sitting there.
Yeah, I think the problem is like it's impossible for me to take this out before you can retreat. So you'd.
True.
So I think it's in my interest to just sit still. Did you ever consider? Because I mean, you've been sitting on Minas Tirith for quite a while. Are you just kind of like saving that one for later?
Yeah, kind of. Well, so I guess my thought process is this: you're not coming out at me, almost certainly. Like that'd be near suicide.
Yeah.
So since that's not happening, all I have to do is just leave that one army there, and that will never be a problem. There's no Path of the Woses. No one's coming to save you. So other than DA. So as long as I handle DA, and at this point, it's maybe not a good idea, but the thought process was if I could get DA under, then I can reinforce with freedom. I don't have to worry about stuff. I can be judicious with my attacks. But
okay, so you're kind of like you want to get this kind of like muzzled before you worry about Minas Tirith kind of thing.
Yeah, because if I hit Minas Tirith and that whole stack vanishes, which is annoyingly possible,
then you're in a whole other world of pain.
Exactly. I come in, you get 4 hits, and and then I stop, and then you sortie forth and get another 3 hits, and then you're mustering unless I put you back under.
So it just could become a mess. Okay, yeah, I get you. I killed Darren. What's going on here?
They're back again. Yeah, you don't have anybody on the map other than Mary, so Brave Stand's not super great.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm just drawing cards at this point. So I'm hoping for like a blue tile. Some half of the deck haven't seen a blue tile yet, but I have seen lots of other good cards. So
Sudden Strike could be pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I do. It would be great in Minas Tirith at least, or with the Gandhi army. So you play Black Captains. Now you go for Lorien with a pretty decent sized army now. And you leave a few spread some Nazgul around the place. So you got Durins, which is great. You get 1 hit with Durins, and then you get 3 hits with the main attack, and I get 1 back. So Lorien is looking like an easy afternoon's work for you. Second round, I play my no quarter just to kind of like play something, right?
Yeah. You're gonna have to discard anyway in a hot sec. So
yeah, I'm just thinking like maybe by some miracle next turn, I can whittle you down, draw power 2 great, get Kellerborns, and then somehow survive in there. No hits anywhere. Help and look for doesn't. Sorry, no quarter does nothing. You press, and then you get what you need. So Lorien falls, and now like you're up to 6. So that has made the military like I wouldn't say you're close to victory by any means, but it does. If you get Minas Tirith, then you're kind of 2 cities away.
Begins to look at least threaten us something,
Yeah, because I mean, like it's not unfathomable that you could like get Minas Tirith down. Get Dale, and then maybe take Shire somehow. Or
Maybe.
like, I don't know, do some insane mustering and like charge to Grey Havens if I haven't got any. Like,
That's true.
there's some like mad like last ditch options.
But being down Saruman, not only his die, but any leadership
Leadership.
from Ward starts to get
Yeah,
a little.
and I can also muster dwarves here as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a non-starter to be
That's
honest.
true. Although you're low on dwarves at this point.
Oh yeah, I'm actually low on dwarf, well, lowish.
Lowish.
And I draw into We Prove the Swifter and the Last Battle / Daylight, and you get oh sorry, yeah, and now you draw a card. So Phlox and Stormcrow.
So
And I say
neither super useful here. I mean, Great Host maybe someday, somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. That you got some options. That could be a good way of just taking down something or other. And you say Shadow Military Victory looking sad. It's kind of looking, yeah, it's looking like it's going to come down to Mordor at this point. You've got a good batch of eyes in the pool.
Yep, I'll take that.
I get a couple of movement, which is fine. I move, and you say, "Come on, red." I get the 1, which is absolutely fine.
Yep. And then that even lets you spend your will to hide.
Yeah,
like.
exactly. So I guess I could have even. I guess I go up 1. I could have taken Gimli there and got close to Gollum. I don't know if that's.
Nah, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, just because like it, as long as I keep these guys in there, it means that like Candles is a genuine threat.
There is that. That's true.
And you're getting through the deck, so I think there is a legit argument for actually like killing the dwarf.
That's a decent point. Yeah,
because Candles could be like genuinely game losing.
And you're holding. There is another way, and Bilbos hasn't come yet. But
Yeah,
you're more than happy with the deck.
Fact that I have there is another way, and that's going to be activated once these guys are out of it. So maybe
good point.
Maybe that's the thought. Yeah. So I forgot to do something. I think.
Oh yeah, we're just talking.
We're just talking about how beautiful and great the dwarves are.
Yeah.
And I think you were talking about how shit they are, and I was like, they're beautiful, kind dwarves. Right. So now the mouth comes to join the party. So you're getting leadership down to Minas Tirith. Nice. I flip. You attack Minas Tirith. You play Words of Power against a Daylight, so you're clearly cycling.
Yep.
You cancel Merry, the poor little hobbit, and you get 2 hits. I get 3 hits back. You stop draw. What do you draw? It's Nazgul Search. That's not very useful. I'm then able to muster guards, so it's just really just rubbing it in there, to be honest.
Although the one nice thing, and this happens every so often, where Minas Tirith is just this giant ball of never gonna fall, and the Witch King's like, that's fine. I'll just sit here and cycle all day, you know.
I suppose, yeah, you could just kind of, he's just like, I'm not even trying to take you down. I'm just cycling, guys. He's just on his like, his little, what are those Peloton bikes, just cycling away.
Yeah. I do need a few more guys to do that, so I bring in Lasarnak and I start bringing Edoras to eventually bring the mouth over with an army.
Yeah, so you're getting some reinforcements in.
Mini reinforcement.
And I think you are due a Shadow Lengthens at some point as well. So I get another elite into Erebor just to make the Jew line horrendous. You play half orcs, that's nice. You've been holding on to that one for a while.
Yeah, just no good place to do it, I think.
No, totally. I move some guys around. Okay, I think I had that hybrid,
You're
so
wasting time. Yeah.
Pretty much just getting a dwarf into Dale in case I need extra reinforcements in Woodland Realm. You flip the mouth, do another attack on MT, more cycling, Daring Defiance against Foul Stench. You get a hit. I get 3 back. Draw. What do you draw? Warm and Sorin Toil, so you're getting not the cards you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm looking for 2 reds and several of the hunt tiles. Like I've only drawn 1 or 2 of the actually draw a tile.
Yeah, I think you discarded Orc Patrol, and then you played.
Did I discard it?
Yeah, I think you did. I think you had you had it at the same time as you had us as Bane earlier, and I think you discarded it.
Right.
But you played us as Bane. You played, I think, like at least 2 others. Lure of the Ring you played, but that's not a tile drawing one.
Well, Orc Patrol only draws eyes anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember what else you drew. Did you play Foul Thing? Not sure. But there's at least a couple in there, right? Candles would be great right now.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
But you draw Grand, so yeah, again, not what you're looking for.
Which is at this point actually an excellent cycling tile, because then you're not even hitting me back, or a cycling card.
Well, you do have Almost Soaring Tour, which would be good for killing Mithril, actually.
That's a good point. I absolutely was not considering that.
That can be really powerful while there's still.
I forgot that does things on the board. You're right.
Yeah. That's when Mithril's on the board, you're always afraid of Almost Soaring. Once I think it's what like Nazgul's Strike is the other one that can do it, but that's only useful outside of Mordor. So we're talking about the odds. So I move straight away. You draw the eye through reveal. Gimli.
Which, I mean, I'll take the corruption, but I really need a red right now.
Yeah. So this is another one where if I had Gollum, if I'd killed Gimli earlier, I could have then hidden at this point with
not against an.
Oh, not against an eye. No, you're absolutely right. Sorry,
Yeah.
I take that back. I was imagining it was a 3. Right.
So you're in pseudo danger territory, you know, like
okay,
you know, if I candles or get a tile draw.
You've got 3 reds in there, so I've been dodging reds like nobody's business so far.
Although Mithril, you know, helps with that a little bit.
Yeah, it gives me some insurance, but the fact I haven't even had to use it and I'm on step 4, it's definitely been a lucky Mordor track for me.
Yep.
You continue your cycling, I imagine, here. You play another character card, of course. Imrahil Shield Wall's played against it. You get some hits. I get 3 back. Or just the 1 because you played Dead in Despair. We talk it through.
And now it's actually like, oh, MT might fall, you know.
Yes,
recently.
It's plausible. Now you draw Foul Thing. Okay, so you finally got one of the cards you're looking for. I hide.
You hide, and I take my 1 shot. I got to get you in range.
So this is kind of like the Hail Mary, I suppose. You're hoping for. What are you really hoping for?
I guess. I mean, there's 3 eyes in there, but anything else is great. You know, the 2 reveal. I'd love to. Well, I guess it wouldn't reveal you because you'd put down to Gollum, but still.
So these would get me down to Gollum and make next turn kind of scary. Like, there's a question here. Like, if you do, because it's quite a small pool, if you were to say get like a 3 red, do you even use Mithril on that when there are like potentially other horrendous?
Yeah, you have to assume that you can win with the move, so you maybe don't even spend it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's even Shello could be good in this situation if you roll a 6.
That'd be great.
Or even I mean Shello, as long as you don't roll
6
a
would
1.
be amazing. I'd take that all day.
And then you hit the eye, and it's just that's just
shucks.
That's when you know it's probably not going to be your day. When I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 movement in Mordor, and I mean, I think there was only 1 red in there initially, but with each passing step, there's been more and more reds, and then I make the crucial. You finally have your shot, and you hit the absolute worst tile imaginable. So yeah.
Shucks. But that's how it goes. So sometimes you hit the shield up, get the 6, and sometimes you draw your own red eye.
Yeah, and kind of like I feel like you kind of got the brunt of like the opposite of the luck I got in my other tournament games, where I was the one always hitting the reds on like the final steps, and like it was the opposite. And now I'm kind of like, so this is how it feels, just cruising through Mordor. Yeah, so that, I mean, in a tournament game, that's rough. But I then.
And now you have no need to move because you know I don't have anything because I didn't do it immediately last time, which I would have.
And you don't have any rings or anything, so I'm like, okay, I don't have to worry about you, doing anything like candles or whatever against me, so I don't need to.
I have no character dice.
Yeah. So you start moving dudes around. I play Smeagol to get that into there. I pass. You start moving the Oliphants around. And I get another elite into Woodland Realm. So just kind of doing what I can, basically.
Yeah, why not, right?
You say you have a disturbing amount of plastic left. So yeah. So I've got a lot of the north left, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, because they're not at war. But so actually, you've mustered everything except the
I've
North
mustered
and Gondor
all
or
the
Rohan.
elves and all of Gondor and most of the dwarfs, but I haven't touched any of Rohan or the North.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like pretty lopsided. You attack Minas Tirith again. You go for your cycling again. So I get to use my big sudden strike. Get 2 hits with it. You get a big hit, big roll.
Yeah. Makes me feel
That's
better at least.
so you, oh yes, you take down. I forgot about that. So yeah, it gets you up to 8.
Makes it feel like it was close if you just look at the stats later, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there was 8 versus a dunk. Oh, okay, it must have been close. Nope.
I
My
suppose.
other 2 were
Yeah.
nowhere.
Someone said it in one of the other comments or one of the videos. Like it's you kind of there's a point where the shadow can get even though you're close, you can still get like how the hell does the shadow actually win the game from here? Like
Yeah.
it's it's just gonna be so hard to take the Lamroth, and then where else do you go? Where else you can grind down Dew, but that could take 3 turns.
Rivendell, I guess, with the Lorien army meeting
Yeah,
up with
you know
Dol
what?
Guldur or something,
You know what? That's
or
probably your
Mount
best
Gundabar,
bet. Lorien up here, with Dol Guldur with like a shadow lengthens, and then
or
just
Mount Gundabad, maybe.
yeah, Gundabad comes
Maybe.
in, and then I just try and move these northern buys into there. That's yeah, you're absolutely right. That would be your best bet, I think. Okay. So you're basically at this point, you need to hit, and you need me to hit 2 reds in a row, 2 consecutive reds.
Yep. That's and even then, unless it's a Shelob 6, you might still win even with that.
Yeah, and you say I've got a chance. I'm like, yeah, if that happened, I was like, I'm gonna send the video to Pooh Daddy because, like, yeah, if anyone hasn't seen Pooh Daddy's channel, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
Um,
his new series is pretty fun.
so
I roll the eyes.
you roll the
So
eyes, yeah. Gives you some hope. I mean, I guess so. What would happen? I guess I've got the this is a buffer from the eyes actually killing me, isn't it?
yeah,
So
you're safe for this move. If you double hit red, then I have a shot. But that's
that's
it.
pretty much it. So God knows what the odds are there. So here we go. You say good luck, and I hit the 2.
And just the 2.
So yeah, GG man, GG.
GG. Congrats on the win in the first round or the second round of the tournament.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thanks for being such a gracious opponent. It's been, I think, the games were very overall very even. I think
I think
it
they were
could have
fun games.
easily gone the other way. Like if this
Yeah.
game, even look how close it was kind of at the end. Then like I dodged a bunch of red tiles, and you had a bunch of dud, tile drawing cards, and even so, it was still like relatively close in the end, corruption wise. So yeah, great game, man. Any kind of, I don't know, any thoughts on the game as a whole?
No, good reminder to. I remember drawing Worn with Sorrow and Toil and being like, well, that's useless. So that's a good note to remember that I could have gotten rid of Mithril. That would have made me feel closer, at least. I don't remember when I would have had the Palantir to get it down, but I'm sure I could have found time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like last turn did you have a die to play Warmesor and Toil? But
I didn't because I burned my only one on foul thing.
I see.
Would
Right,
have had
and
to have it for like 2 rounds ago.
but that
So
does kind
I'd
of
have to
beg the
refresh
question:
it.
is I'm not sure if I'd already moved. If I'd already moved, then it kind of loses value, obviously. Because
Yeah.
if Gimli was already dead, then Warmesor and Toil is kind of useless. But like if you did have a window to play that, that's probably more powerful than playing Foul Thing because it guarantees. Because I'm going to have to kill Gimli, right?
Yeah.
I think. Probably.
And I drew Breaking just now, which is sort of 2 corruption, but I really need you to be about 2 steps back to really have a shot here, especially when you have There's Another Way.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think the one card that would have really helped you. I mean, again, it's a card that can go either way, but like Candles, while I still got a non-Golem dude in the Fellowship, could have been huge.
Candles would have been good.
Yeah, so that was the fact that was in the final 3. This is pretty rough. Oh,
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, man. And I think we're going to do something fun on your channel at some point soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. All right, so peace out, everybody. And I'll be doing videos for the next round of games, so check it out on this channel, and have a good one. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.